Hello, my friend, and welcome back. I'm really happy that you're here today. This is another episode of Super English Talks, the channel where we use real English to talk about real ideas. If this is your first time listening, thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad you found this place. And if you've been here before, welcome back. You already know this is a space where we learn together, grow together, and practice speaking better English step by step. So, before we begin, take a deep breath. Relax. Get comfortable. Maybe grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's get started. Today's topic is very important. It's not only useful for learning English, but also for your life in general. The skill we're talking about today is critical thinking. Now, I know this phrase might sound a little big, or maybe even difficult. Critical thinking. It sounds like something you might hear in a university classroom or in a serious book. But don't worry. My goal is to make it clear, simple, and easy for you. By the end of this episode, you'll understand what critical thinking means, why it matters, and how you can start using it in your everyday life while practicing your English at the same time. Why critical thinking matters. Think about your daily life. Every single day, you see and hear hundreds of messages. You see posts on social media. You watch videos on YouTube. You hear the news. You listen to friends, family, and coworkers. Everyone is sharing ideas, opinions, advice, and even facts. It can feel like standing in the middle of a very busy street. Voices are coming at you from every direction. One person says, "Believe this." Another says, No, believe that." Another one tells you, "Do this." And someone else says, "No, don't do that." In a world full of so many voices, it's easy to feel confused. It's easy to feel lost. And it's very easy to believe something that might not even be true. That is why critical thinking is more important now than ever before. Many people, when they hear the word critical, think of something negative. For example, if someone says, "She's very critical," we often imagine a person who is always judging, always finding mistakes, always pointing out problems. But that's only one meaning of the word critical. In today's context, critical means something different. It means being careful, thoughtful, and serious about how we look at things. So, when we say critical thinking, we don't mean being rude, negative, or judgmental. Not at all. We mean thinking in a way that is smart, clear, and not easily fooled. In other words, being critical in your thinking means you don't just believe something immediately. You take a moment to ask, is this really true? Does this make sense? What evidence do I have? What is the other side of the story? That's the power of critical thinking. And that is where we'll begin our journey today. Step by step, we'll explore how you can use critical thinking in your daily life, in your conversations, and even in your English learning. So, are you ready? Let's dive deeper into this skill that can truly change the way you see the world. When you use critical thinking, you don't just accept things quickly. You pause. You ask questions. You try to see the full picture. You want to be sure before you believe something, make a decision, or take action. This way of being critical is not a weakness. It's actually a strength. It helps you protect yourself from false information, bad choices, and emotional mistakes. The second word, thinking. Okay, so we understand what critical means in this context, being careful, thoughtful, and not easily fooled. But what about the second word? Thinking. Thinking is something we all do every day, almost all the time. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what is thinking really? Use English as a tool to express yourself. Use it to grow, to reflect, to learn. That's how you improve, not just as an English learner, but as a person. And finally, if you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you liked, shared, or subscribed. And don't forget to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences with critical thinking. Because when we share our stories, we all learn and grow together. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope you feel inspired, encouraged, and a little more confident in your own ability to think clearly and live wisely. Remember, you've got this. Keep learning. Keep asking. Keep growing. Hello, and welcome to Super English Talks. I'm really happy that you are here with me today. Thank you for choosing this channel to help you learn and improve your English. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you are ready to listen, ready to learn, and ready to grow step by step. On this channel, we always talk about topics that are useful for your life. At the same time, we use simple and clear English so that you can practice your listening and speaking. So take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin today's episode. The topic, rumination. Today we are going to talk about a word that may sound a little new or strange, rumination. Don't worry if you have never heard this word before. I will explain it slowly and in a simple way so you can understand it easily. Maybe you don't know the word rumination, but you probably know the feeling. What does rumination mean? Rumination means thinking again and again about the same thing. Usually it is not a happy thing. It is often something negative, something that makes you feel sad, angry, or worried. It is like your mind is stuck. You keep replaying the same thought in your head and you can't stop thinking about it. For example, maybe you made a mistake yesterday. You keep thinking, why did I do that? I should not have done that. You repeat this thought again and again. Maybe you had an argument with someone. You keep remembering their words and your words. You feel angry or upset, and you can't let it go. Or maybe you are worried about something in the future. You think about the problem over and over, even though you don't have the answer yet. This is rumination. Your mind circles around the same idea without moving forward. Why is rumination a problem? Now, why should we talk about this? Why is rumination important? The reason is simple. Rumination can affect your mental health. When you think too much about negative things, it makes you feel unhappy. It can make you feel anxious. It can make you feel stressed. Sometimes, rumination even makes you feel tired because your brain is working all the time on the same problem. And when your mind is full of rumination, you cannot enjoy the present moment. You are not here right now. Instead, you are stuck in the past, or you are worried about the future. How can we deal with rumination? The good news is this. When we understand what rumination is, we can start to stop it. We can learn to let go of thoughts that don't help us. We can learn to bring our attention back to the present moment. When we do this, life feels lighter. We feel calmer, more peaceful, and even more happy. Why this episode helps you twice. There is another reason this podcast is useful for you today. You are not only learning about rumination, you are also practicing your English. As you listen, you hear clear and simple English sentences. You can notice new words in context. That means you learn them naturally, inside real sentences. You can also try repeating some of the sentences after me. This will help you practice speaking and improve your confidence. So today, you will learn something important for your life and something important for your English. Let's review. So, let's go over it one more time. Rumination means thinking again and again about the same thing. Usually it is a negative thought, something sad, angry, or worrying. Rumination does not solve problems. It only makes us feel worse. When we notice rumination, we can try to let go and return to the present moment. This is the first step to feeling better and living with more peace. Stay with me because in the next part, we will explore how to stop rumination and what practical things you can do when your mind is stuck. Are you ready? Let's continue this journey together. The more you think about something, the sadder or more upset you feel. This is what rumination does. Let me give you an example. Imagine you had a small argument with a friend. Maybe you said something you did not really mean and now you feel bad about it. After the argument, you don't move on. Instead, you keep thinking about it. You think, why did I say that? You think, I should have stayed quiet. You play the conversation in your head again and again, almost like watching the same movie many times. You imagine how your friend felt. You imagine what you could have said instead. But instead of solving the problem, this only makes you feel worse. You might feel more upset with yourself. You might even start to worry about your friendship. This is rumination. Here's another example. Maybe you made a small mistake at work or at school. It was not a big mistake, but you feel bad about it. Instead of letting it go, you keep thinking about it. You think about the moment again and again. You remember how your teacher or your boss looked at you. You say to yourself, I'm not good enough. Or, I always make mistakes. Even when you are at home with your family, your mind goes back to that same mistake. You cannot rest because your thoughts are still turning around it. This, too, is rumination. Your mind is stuck on one small thing, and it makes you feel bad again and again. Sometimes rumination is about the past. Maybe something happened a long time ago, but you still feel upset when you think about it. For example, you might remember a time when someone was unkind to you. You can still hear their words in your mind, and those words hurt you again, even today. Or maybe you think about a chance you missed. You say, if only I had done this. If only I had said that. You cannot change the past, but your mind keeps pulling it back. This is rumination. It makes you unhappy again and again. Rumination can also be about the future. You may worry about something that has not even happened yet. For example, maybe you need to give a speech. Or you have a job interview. You keep thinking, what if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I forget my words? You imagine all the things that could go wrong. This, too, is rumination. You are thinking too much about the future, and you feel nervous and stressed even before the day comes. Here is the big problem with rumination. It feels like you are solving something. It feels like you're trying to find an answer. But actually, rumination does not help. It does not give you new ideas. It does not bring solutions. It only makes you more tired, more sad, and more worried. Your thoughts go in circles, again and again. But nothing changes. Let's use a picture to understand it better.
Imagine a cow chewing grass.
The cow chews the same grass many times. That is where the word rumination comes from cows chewing food again and again. Now, when humans ruminate, we are not chewing grass. We are chewing our thoughts. We chew the same thought again and again, but it gives us nothing new. It doesn't give us peace. It doesn't help us grow. It only takes our energy. I want you to remember this. It is normal to think about your life. It is normal to feel sad or worried or upset sometimes. That is part of being human. But rumination is different. Rumination is when you cannot stop thinking about something. It does not help you. It only hurts you. Rumination keeps you stuck. It makes small problems feel big. It steals your peace and makes it harder to enjoy the present moment. So, when you hear the word rumination, remember this. It means thinking too much, especially about negative things. Thinking in a way that does not help you. Thinking in a way that makes you feel bad, not better. In the next part of this podcast, we will talk about why people ruminate. Why does the mind keep going back to the same thoughts again and again, even when it hurts us? Why is it so hard to stop? These are good questions. Let's explore them together in a simple way. Why do people ruminate? One common reason is because people worry about the past. All of us make mistakes in life. Sometimes we say something we don't mean. Sometimes we do something, and later we wish we had done it differently. This is normal. Everyone makes mistakes. But for many people, it is hard to let go of these moments. The mind keeps playing them again and again. We ask ourselves, why did I do that? Why didn't I do it another way? It is like a movie that repeats the same scene over and over. We think, if I keep replaying it, maybe I will learn something. Maybe I will feel better. But usually, it does not make us feel better. It makes us feel worse. We feel more regret.
We feel more sadness.
We feel more stress. Another reason is regret. Regret means feeling sorry for something you did or for something you did not do. For example, maybe you wanted to apply for a job, but you were too afraid, and now the chance is gone. Maybe you wanted to say something kind to someone, but you stayed quiet. Later, you think about it again and again. You feel regret. You wish you could go back and change the past. But we all know we cannot go back in time. Still, the regret stays in the mind.
It repeats.
It grows. And this starts the cycle of rumination. Fear of the future is also a big reason. When we look ahead, we sometimes feel scared about what might happen. We ask ourselves, what if I fail? What if something bad happens? Our mind creates stories about the future. And usually, these stories are full of problems and danger. For example, if you have a test next week, you may keep thinking about how difficult it will be. You imagine forgetting everything. If you have to give a speech, you may imagine people laughing at you or judging you. Nothing bad has happened yet. But in your mind, it feels like it already happened. This is rumination about the future. It steals your peace today because you are too busy worrying about tomorrow. Sometimes people ruminate because they want to solve a problem. At first, this sounds good. It sounds like we are being smart and looking for answers. But the truth is, rumination does not solve anything. Instead of taking action, we stay stuck in our thoughts. We think about the problem again and again, but we don't move forward. It feels like thinking more will give us control. But in reality, it only gives us more stress, more fear, and more worry. Another reason people ruminate is because they feel out of control. When something happens that we cannot change, the mind still wants to fight it. It keeps returning to the thought, hoping to change the past or predict the future. But the more we think, the more helpless we feel. So, why do people ruminate? Because of mistakes in the past. Because of regret. Because of fear of the future. Because we want to solve problems but get stuck. Because we feel out of control. All of these reasons are common. But the result is the same. Rumination makes us feel worse, not better. When something bad happens and we cannot change it, our mind sometimes holds on to it. We think about it again and again because we don't know what else to do. For example, maybe you lost your job. You feel sad. You feel worried about the future. You cannot change what happened, but your mind keeps going back to that moment. You ask yourself, what could I have done differently? Why did this happen to me? In moments like this, rumination makes us feel like we are doing something useful. It feels like we are trying to understand the problem. It feels like we are trying to fix it. But sadly, rumination does not really help. Sometimes people ruminate because they feel hurt by others. Maybe someone said something unkind. Maybe someone treated you badly. Your mind keeps replaying that situation. You think about their words. You think about their actions. You wonder, why did they do that? What did I do wrong? You feel angry.
You feel sad.
Sometimes you even imagine what you should have said back to them in that moment. This is also rumination. The pain from what happened keeps bringing the thought back again and again. Another reason is habit. For some people, rumination becomes a way of thinking. They get used to thinking too much about everything. Their mind always looks for problems. Their mind always looks for danger. This habit may come from past life experiences. Over time, the habit becomes stronger. The brain learns to keep thinking and worrying, even when it is not helpful. And the more you practice rumination, the harder it feels to stop. So, as you can see, people ruminate for many reasons. They worry about the past. They regret things they did or did not do. They fear the future. They feel hurt by others. They feel out of control. Or they have developed the habit of thinking too much. The reasons may be different, but the result is the same. Rumination keeps us stuck. It makes us feel sad. It makes us feel worried. It makes us feel tired. It takes away our peace. But here is the good news. Once we understand why we ruminate, we can start learning how to stop. And that is what we'll talk about very soon. So stay with me as we continue to explore this important topic together. How does rumination affect us? Now, let's talk about how rumination actually affects us in daily life. As we said before, rumination means thinking too much about something, usually something negative. But how does this kind of thinking really change the way we feel? First of all, rumination can make us feel sad. When we keep thinking about mistakes from the past or worries about the future, sadness grows inside us. For example, maybe you think again and again about something that went wrong. The more you think about it, the more upset you feel. Your mind brings back the same negative feelings again, almost like opening an old wound. Even if that event happened a long time ago, rumination makes it feel fresh again. The memory is alive because your thoughts keep feeding it. Instead of helping you move on, rumination pulls you deeper into sadness. It is like carrying a heavy bag. At first, the bag feels light, but the longer you carry it, the heavier it becomes. Your heart feels heavy too. It becomes harder to smile, harder to enjoy life, harder to feel free. How does rumination affect us? We have already learned that rumination means thinking too much, especially about negative things. But how does this kind of thinking really affect our life? How does it change the way we feel every day? Let's look at this in more detail. 1. Rumination makes us feel sad. When we ruminate, we keep thinking about the past. We remember mistakes. We remember problems. We remember painful moments. The more we think about these things, the more sadness we feel. For example, maybe you made a mistake years ago. It was small, but your mind keeps bringing it back. Each time you think of it, the sadness comes back too. It is almost like opening an old wound. Even if the event happened long ago, rumination makes it feel fresh again, as if it just happened yesterday. It is like carrying a heavy bag. At first, the bag is not so heavy, but the longer you carry it, the heavier it feels. Rumination is like that. It makes your heart heavy. 2. Rumination makes us feel anxious. Rumination is not only about the past, it is also about the future. When we ruminate, we often imagine things going wrong. For example, if you have a test, you may keep thinking, what if I fail? If you have a meeting, you may keep thinking, what if people don't like me? What if they think I'm not good enough? These thoughts go in circles. They make you feel nervous. Sometimes you even feel sick in your stomach. Sometimes you cannot sleep at night because your mind is too busy worrying. And here is the sad truth. Most of the things we worry about never even happen. But rumination makes the brain believe the danger is real. And so, the body feels stress, even when there is no real danger. 3. Rumination makes us tired. Thinking takes energy. When your mind repeats the same problem again and again, it uses a lot of that energy. It is like your brain is running on a treadmill that never stops. Your body may not be moving, but your mind is running hard. This can make you feel very tired. You may wake up in the morning and feel like you did not rest. Your body slept, but your mind worked all night. And when you feel tired, it is even easier to feel sad or worried. So the problem of rumination becomes bigger and bigger. 4. Rumination steals joy from the present. When your mind is full of thoughts about the past or the future, it is hard to enjoy the present moment. For example, maybe you are sitting with friends or family. They're talking and laughing, but your mind is not really there. Your body is in the room, but your thoughts are far away. Or maybe you are outside. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. But you don't notice because your mind is too busy thinking about problems. Life gives us many small joys, but rumination hides these joys from us. 5. Rumination makes small problems feel big. When you think about something too much, even a small problem can grow into a big one. For example, maybe you forget to reply to a message. It is a small thing. Most people forget sometimes. But if you ruminate, you think, they must be angry with me. I am such a bad friend. The small problem grows larger and larger in your mind. And when it feels bigger, it also feels harder to solve. This can make you feel even more stuck. 6. Rumination keeps us stuck. Perhaps the most serious effect of rumination is that it keeps us from moving forward. We spend so much time thinking about the problem that we forget to take action. We do not try to fix the problem. We do not try to move on. Instead, we just stay in the same place with the same thoughts. This can stop us from growing. It can stop us from trying new things. It can even stop us from enjoying new experiences. We feel trapped in our own mind. And over time, this can lead to deeper sadness, more stress, and even depression. So, as you can see, rumination affects us in many ways. It makes us sad. It makes us anxious. It makes us tired. It steals joy from the present moment. It turns small problems into big ones. And it keeps us stuck. But here is the good news. Once we understand these effects, we can begin to make changes. We can learn how to stop rumination and how to bring more peace into our mind. In the next part of this podcast, we will talk about something very important: the difference between rumination and reflection. This will help you understand when thinking is useful and when it is not. So stay with me as we continue this journey together. What is the difference between rumination and reflection? Now let's talk about the difference between rumination and reflection. These two words may sound a little similar because both are about thinking, but they are actually very different. One can help you grow, while the other can make you feel worse. That's why it is important to understand the difference. Reflection. Reflection means thinking in a calm and useful way. When you reflect, you look at something that happened and you try to learn from it. Reflection is not about blaming yourself. It's about understanding and improving. For example, you might ask yourself, what went well? What could I do better next time? Reflection usually has a purpose. You are thinking because you want to learn something, make better choices, or create a plan for the future. And the good thing is that when you finish reflecting, you often feel clearer, calmer, and more ready to move forward. Here's a small example. Imagine you gave a short speech in class. Later, you sit down and think about it. You say to yourself, I spoke clearly, that was good. But next time I should try to look at the audience more. This is reflection. You are noticing what worked well and what you can improve. You are learning from the experience. Reflection helps you grow. Rumination. Rumination also means thinking, but it is thinking in an unhelpful way. When you ruminate, your mind goes over the same problem again and again, but you don't learn anything new. Instead of finding solutions, your thoughts go in circles. Rumination usually makes you feel sad, anxious, or upset. The more you think, the worse you feel. It is like your brain keeps replaying the same negative moment. And when you finish ruminating, you don't feel better. You feel more tired and stressed. Let's use the same speech example again. After giving your speech, instead of reflecting, you keep thinking, I was so bad. Everyone must think I'm stupid. I can't believe I forgot that word. I always mess things up. You repeat these thoughts again and again. You don't learn from the experience. You don't make a plan to improve. You just feel worse about yourself. That is rumination. The main difference. So, what is the difference? Reflection helps you. Rumination hurts you. Reflection is healthy thinking. Rumination is unhealthy thinking. Reflection is about learning, growing, and moving forward. Rumination is about getting stuck, going in circles, and feeling worse. Reflection usually makes you feel calm and clear. Rumination usually makes you feel stressed and unhappy. Another simple way to say it. Reflection is thinking that gives you answers. Rumination is thinking that only gives you pain. So, whenever you find yourself going over a problem again and again, ask yourself, am I reflecting or am I ruminating? If you are reflecting, you will feel calmer and more ready to move on. If you are ruminating, you will feel stuck and heavy. The goal is to practice reflection and avoid rumination. Reflection moves you forward. Rumination keeps you in the same place. Rumination versus reflection continued. Rumination feels heavy. It feels confusing. When you are ruminating, your mind is full of thoughts, but you are not moving forward. It feels like your brain is busy, but you are stuck in the same place. Reflection, on the other hand, feels very different. Reflection is like looking at a map to see where to go next. It gives you direction and clarity. Rumination is like walking in circles. You use a lot of energy, but you don't get closer to where you want to go. Let's think of another example. Imagine you had a small argument with a friend. If you reflect, you might think, I was tired, so maybe I spoke too quickly. Next time I can try to listen more. This kind of thinking helps you. It gives you an idea for the future. It helps you improve. But if you ruminate, you might think, why did I say that? I'm such a bad friend. They must hate me now. You keep repeating these thoughts again and again. You don't learn anything new. You only feel worse. So remember this. Both reflection and rumination are about thinking, but they are not the same. Reflection helps you grow. Rumination keeps you stuck. Reflection is healthy, but rumination is not. It is very important to notice the difference. You should ask yourself, is my thinking helpful, or is it hurting me? If it is helpful, it is reflection. If it is hurting you, it is rumination. And here's something powerful. When you catch yourself ruminating, you can stop and choose reflection instead. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me? You can ask, what can I learn from this? What can I do better next time? This shift can make your mind feel lighter and stronger. How can we stop ruminating? Now, let's talk about how to stop rumination. I know it can feel very hard to control these thoughts. When your mind keeps going back to the same worry or mistake, it feels like you have no control. But the good news is this. There are simple things you can do to help your mind let go of rumination. Here are some easy tips you can try. 1. Write your thoughts down. When your mind is full, your head feels heavy. But when you write your thoughts on paper, your mind becomes lighter. You don't have to write perfectly. Just take a notebook and write exactly what is in your head. When you move your thoughts from your mind onto the page, your brain can finally rest. Seeing your thoughts written down often makes them look smaller and less scary. Writing also helps you notice if your worries are real or if they're just your imagination. So, next time you catch yourself ruminating, try writing. Even a few sentences can help you clear your mind. 2. Talk to someone you trust. Rumination traps your thoughts inside your head. They keep going around in circles. But when you talk to a friend, a family member, or even a teacher, those thoughts come out into the open. When you speak your worries out loud, the circle is broken. Just sharing can make you feel lighter. The person you talk to can listen with kindness, and sometimes they can even help you see your problem in a new way. You don't have to carry your thoughts alone. Sharing them gives your mind a chance to rest. 3. Focus on the present moment. Rumination usually lives in the past or the future. You keep thinking about mistakes from the past or worrying about things that have not happened yet. But when you bring your mind back to the present, rumination loses its power. You can practice this in very simple ways. Look around you and name 5 things you can see. Listen carefully and notice 3 sounds around you, maybe birds, the wind, or people talking. Feel your feet on the ground and take a slow, deep breath. Notice how it feels as you breathe in and out. These small actions bring you back to now. And when your mind is in the present, it becomes much harder for rumination to take over. 4. Do something active. Another way to stop rumination is to use your body or your hands. When you are active, your brain has less space for heavy thoughts. You could go for a walk, play a sport, cook, draw, or even clean your room. These activities give your mind a break and help you reset. So, remember, you don't have to stay stuck in rumination. You can choose reflection instead. You can write your thoughts down, talk to someone, focus on the present, or do something active. All of these steps will help you let go of unhealthy thinking and feel calmer and stronger. Now, as we come to the end of this podcast, let's take a moment to review everything we have learned together today. We started by talking about the difference between reflection and rumination. Reflection is healthy thinking. It is calm and clear. It helps you learn from your experiences and move forward. Rumination, on the other hand, is unhealthy thinking. It keeps you stuck in the same thoughts. It makes you feel worse instead of better. We learned that reflection feels light and purposeful, while rumination feels heavy and confusing. Reflection is like looking at a map to find your way forward. Rumination is like walking in circles and never reaching anywhere. One helps you grow, the other holds you back. Then we talked about how to stop ruminating. We looked at many simple tips. You can write your thoughts down to make your mind feel lighter. You can talk to a friend or someone you trust to break the circle of repeating thoughts. You can bring yourself back to the present moment by noticing what you see, hear, and feel around you. You can use your hands or body by walking, cleaning, drawing, cooking, or playing with a pet. You can set a time limit for thinking so you don't spend the whole day on the same worry. You can ask yourself better questions like, what can I do differently next time? Instead of, why am I like this? You can be kind to yourself the same way you would be kind to a good friend. And finally, you can let go of things you cannot control and focus on what you can do now. Each of these tips is simple, but together they can make a big difference. They can help you move away from rumination and towards reflection, learning, and peace of mind. Remember, stopping rumination is not something that happens all at once. It is a practice. Your mind may return to the same thoughts again and again, but that's okay. Every time you catch yourself and gently guide your mind back, you are growing stronger. Small steps every day lead to big changes over time. So, as you go forward, try to notice your thinking. Ask yourself, am I reflecting or am I ruminating? If you are reflecting, keep going, it will help you. If you are ruminating, try one of the simple tips we talked about today. With patience and kindness, you can learn to quiet your mind and live with more peace and confidence. In short, rumination takes away our peace and happiness. It keeps us stuck in our own thoughts and makes it harder to feel calm and strong. But the good news is this: we can learn how to manage rumination. We shared some simple tips that can help. For example, write your thoughts down to give your mind a rest. Talk to a friend or someone you trust to break the circle of rumination. Focus on the present moment by noticing what you see, hear, or feel right now. Do small activities that keep your body busy, like walking, drawing, or cleaning. Ask yourself better questions that lead to solutions, instead of why questions that only bring more worry. Be kind to yourself and let go of the things you cannot control. All of these small steps can help you stop ruminating and start feeling better. I want to leave you with this positive message. You can learn to stop rumination. You can learn to let go of unhelpful thoughts. You can bring more peace and happiness into your life. It takes practice, but you can do it. Small changes make a big difference. Be patient and gentle with yourself as you learn. Every time you bring your focus back to the present, every time you choose a kind thought, you are moving in the right direction. Before we finish, I encourage you to practice speaking about this topic. Try to tell someone in your own words what rumination means. Explain why it is not helpful, and share a few of the tips we discussed today. This will help you remember the ideas and also improve your English speaking skills. You can also listen to this episode again, or share it with a friend who might find it helpful. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, or share it. Your support helps us reach more people and create more useful content for English learners like you. Finally, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to leave a comment or a question. Tell me what you think about this topic, or share your own ideas and experiences. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself, and I hope to speak with you again very soon.